Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So as you can tell by the title of the video, I just hit my 6 months mark as a futures trader on May 28th. It's been a really emotional roller coaster ride, so I'm thankful for each of you for choosing to follow along my journey. So with that being said, for today's video idea, I actually wanted to cover 3 different concepts that I wish I understood better as a beginner trader. The first is which company and which accounts should I trade with to start? The second is which trading channels would help best with my trading psychology and developing that mindset. And then lastly is how would I be able to build relationships with fellow traders and build my own community? These are 3 burning topics that I always get on the regular. So I felt like putting it together as a video for the 6 months, anniversary or whatever would be a really fun one. Now, before we get into it, I also want to mention that tomorrow on June 7th, or even right now because it's already after midnight, we are going to be embarking on the road to my first payout with my $50,000 master account with Bolinox. So make sure you are subscribed because that is going to be a very interesting series indeed. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Now, if I had to start over, the first company and accounts that I would choose to trade with and from would be Lulu Trading. Now, with Lulu Trading, right off the bat, they have an amazing customer support team, an amazing CEO and founder, and just a team that really cares about its traders and its community. On top of that, their customer service that they offer is great, not just the people, but the actual services. And then lastly, their plans. So the one that I would recommend to myself if I had to start over is the Lulu entry accounts. So if you go to their main page here, there's a little tab that says entry accounts, LE. These are the accounts that I would highly recommend. Not only are they super beginner friendly, but also the affordability for those that are maybe on a budget, especially if you're a new trader. You don't obviously don't want to put your whole life savings into this, especially if you don't have enough experience. Well, with the Lulu entry, right off the bat, a $25,000 account, you can start it at 26 bucks a month, go all the way to the $300,000 account, $169 a month. Now, obviously, there's night and day differences between the accounts in between, but the main point is that the price for these plans are super, super affordable. This will allow you to extend your lifeline when it comes to trading. Because as we all know, managing risk and managing your capital is one of the most important things when it comes to trading because you want to be able to survive in this industry, right? So if you throw all of your money into a funded account and you don't have the experience to be able to back it up, or nor the strategy or the trading psychology, all of that life savings will be burned away very quickly. So at least with these LE accounts here, you'll be able to extend that by a long shot, right? So one thing I also want to point out with the Lulu entries though is actually their payout structure. A really cool thing is not only are they super affordable, beginner friendly, but while you're practicing your strategy, practicing, your trading psychology, you still have the ability to get a payout. Now, the investor accounts versus the LE accounts, they're quite similar. The only difference is the amount of profit you get to keep. So if you have an investor or a foundation account, those accounts you get 100% of the payout that you request. Obviously, eventually you get the 90-10 split, you get the whole spiel. But with the LE accounts, the Lulu entries, you get to keep 50% of what is requested. So for example, if we look at this chart down here, this will break it down very simply for you. But for the $50,000 account, obviously if you meet their benchmarks and you qualify for the payout, let's say you request the maximum amount of $1,500, well, you get 50% of that. So the max you can actually receive is $750. Once the first 4 months of your requests are over, the fifth month and on, you can request up to 50% of whatever profit that you make. So let's say in month 5 you make $10,000, you can request the 10,000, you'll get 50%, so you get to walk home with $5,000. So it's a really, really good steal because at the end of the day, it's not about the payouts that we're worried about here when it comes to these accounts. It's more about the affordability and the opportunity to practice your strategy. And yes, the cherry on top is the fact that if everything does work out and you qualify for a payout, you will actually receive one. So as always, I will go ahead and link this down in the description, both the facts page as well as the homepage, so you guys can do a little bit more research if you're interested, because I know if I was a beginner, I would highly do this route for sure. Now, my next step would obviously be focusing on my trading psychology. With my trading psychology, the top two favorite YouTube channels right now that I would recommend to a beginner would be first Randy Howell. With Randy Howell, he's able to easily break down so many trading psychology concepts that maybe even a fifth grader can understand. On top of that, his voice narration is not boring. So, thankfully, he's not like monotone. He has some inflection, and on top of that, he seems very likable. His actual content, his videos itself, it's very interesting how he edits them, but it definitely makes you more engaged because you're now wondering like, why does he edit it this way? On top of that, he offers a variety of content, so not always the same concepts and not always the same length of video. So for example, he has 15-minute videos, 1 hour, 50, sometimes even 7 minute, even shorter to 5. So he has a variety of videos that you can watch, and it's all for free on YouTube as well. If you wanted to join his team and do more with him, you can definitely find more on his page for his links. But I just use his YouTube channel because it's free, and honestly, I'm surprised he only has 43,000 subscribers. He deserves so many more because he's an outstanding trading psychologist speaker. And as a beginner, he would definitely help you with understanding like certain concepts in your mind, like why do you overtrade? How do you become the best loser in the room? How do you really train your brain to make money? Like he breaks it down very simple. The second account for YouTube that I would recommend for a beginner, if I had to start over again, would actually be start watching Words of Wisdom. So this podcast is actually really interesting. You can learn so many like key valuable information here from different traders with different perspectives. Another thing too, aside from the educational part, is being able to relate. So there's so many traders that come on here that have possibly a similar story to you, and I can definitely relate to some of them that had spoken recently, like Paladin, for example. Hearing his journey that he spent the last couple of years, I think it's like 4, maybe 5 years of his life, dedicated towards training to make it work. From having his father's situation that he speaks about on the podcast to, being in school and college and then dropping out, becoming a doorman so you can be able to afford to live, sharing a room with some other roommates, and then eventually dropping out of school again so he can pursue training full time. That whole spiel right there in itself shows that he's a human just like you and I. He went through a really hard circumstance and he was able to get out of that. And last year in 2022, he made a 6-figure payout. This year, he's on the road to making multi-million funding from different companies. So with that being said, like this channel can really open your eyes to show that there's fellow traders out there that may have came from money or may have not, but either way, they put in the work over the years and even months, and they made it. They're still pushing to make an impact on this industry, and I think this is a very inspirational way to show beginners that it's possible if you just continue to put in the work. Now obviously these podcasts are a bit lengthy. Podcasts are typically are, it's about an hour even plus longer. So if you have the time, I would recommend to put it on even if you're at the gym. But as a beginner, I wish I knew about this channel and I wish I had this content available for me back then, and that I took trading psychology serious because it is one of the biggest pieces of trading to be successful. Now, this is the most commonly asked question that I received in my emails and all of my DMs and even in my comments. And it is, how do I meet other fellow traders and build my community? Now, as a beginner, you don't really know where to start. And you might think it might be hard to find fellow traders because maybe the industry is too small or maybe not enough people are interested in creating networking like you and I are. Well, rest assured, there's lots of people out there that feel the same way, but they also don't know where to go. So if I had to start over as a beginner to be able to build, relationships with fellow traders and build my own community, these are the first 4 apps I would download and really take advantage of. The first is going to be Discord. Now, everybody and their mom and their grandma and their dad uses Discord. Now, obviously, I'm joking, but like lots of people are on here. There are so many servers out there and it's open for the public, whether they're free, Discord groups or paid. And even from there, when you click on somebody's profile, you can see in their little description if they have another mutual server aside from the one you're already in together with. And so from there, that's an easy way for you to just reach out to them in their DMs saying like, hey, I noticed you are a fellow trader of these communities. Like, how's your trading journey going? Or what's your experience with them? Or which one do you prefer more? Just very surface level conversation. And eventually you'll grow your relationship as you talk more, just like any other kind of friendship or relationship. And from there, they can become your trader friend. So with Discord, I think it's a really great space. You can find so many positive communities, again, whether they're paid or free. For me, I have quite a few on the side here. Some of the communities that I want to be part of, they don't offer Discord. That's why you may not see it here. or I may not have come across it just yet. But definitely, my favorite ones are with the prop firms or the companies that I trade with or that I stand by. These companies have Discord groups. Some of them do. So I did participate by joining in them, and you'll be able to find so many good people here, because they choose to be part of these groups. So they want to be surrounded by fellow traders. And with that being said, when you actually go into the public chat, you can easily just hop into a conversation. Now, this is a great example of me earlier today. Someone had posted that they had just passed their account, and this is what I said. I said, dude, heck yeah, congrats. Hopefully we'll be with you. Hopefully we'll be there with you in the next few days with the prayer hands. Keep it up. And see, they just responded back really quick. You got it, bro. So I can also just send them a DM on the side. I can easily see like, hey, congrats again on the amazing win of that passing that evaluation. Like, how is your journey going? Very simple. So Discord is a really, really great place to start. So if you don't have Discord yet, I would highly suggest you to download it, because as a beginner, I would have told myself to download this a long time ago, which I did. So really great place to start. You can even build your own community through Discord as well, should you decide to. And that leads me to another concept I want to cover, which is a few of you asked me if I will be creating a Discord. And I'm kind of interested in possibly doing it. Of course, I want to make sure enough people want to join in on it first. It would be free, of course, so that everyone could just hop in, talk all things trading related, build our community there, all things strategies, our performance, our emotional and mental health check-ins, all that stuff. But again, it has to be enough people that want to be part of it, and yeah, all that good stuff. So hopefully in the future down the road, we will create a Discord community and join all together in it. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think about that though. The second app that I would recommend for you to download as a beginner, to myself too, would be Instagram. Now, there's lots of pros and cons when it comes overall to social media, but as long as your intent is, so it can bring value to your life and a positive impact, then I would highly recommend to use it to your advantage. So with Instagram, I enjoy finding traders and different profiles through here, because in those profiles, you'll be able to see, whether they're 24-hour stories or actual posts on their profile. It gives you a better insight and a deeper look as to who that character or that profile is. Right? It's not just surface level. It's not just maybe a name or based off of a little conversation. Now you actually have something you can go off of. Maybe their description says, training since 20 years ago. Boom, there you go. You can look at all of their posts from the last 20 years or however long they've been on Instagram. You can look at their story posts, see if it brings some type of value to your life. And if it does, you can quickly follow them. You can even send them a DM at that point. And again, keeping everything very surface, maybe a very simple question like, hey, I noticed you've been training this amount of time. Like, how has it been for you? Or if you could go back 20 years, what would you tell the beginner trader of yourself? Like, there's so many ways you can go about it, but keeping it very simple, genuine, and surface level is a great way to start. So that's why I like Instagram. They also have the option of looking up hashtags, and that's how I actually came across Terrence from Roach Gang Industry. He's the homie. I'm in a daily call with him on Skype and the team. If I wake up and I actually join in on it. But yeah, that's how I actually found Terrence. It was through Instagram. So, I would have never been able to have my trader friends I have now had I not downloaded and made myself a trading profile on Instagram. So definitely a really great place to start. The next one is going to be YouTube. So, as a content creator, of course, if you are, with an active channel trying to make it out here in the social space, then building a community through YouTube is one of the best places to start. I know it's been a tough battle. Obviously growing is one thing, but also like having the intent to just build a positive, safe space is another. To grow, it's easy to just make so many marketing ads and sponsor this, sponsor that, whatever it takes to make revenue. Then with the intent of building a safe space, a positive community, I think it's a bit different, because at this point, you're just trying to find genuine people to be able to grow alongside you. And that's the goal of my channel. So that's how I've been slowly building my community. I just want to be real with you guys, and I hope you're real with me. And that's how we can go and grow together. But obviously, not everyone wants to be a content creator, and everyone has different intentions. So if you just want to be a viewer, that is more than okay. And what I would recommend for myself, if I was just a viewer, which I was back in just November, December with no trading channel, what I had done was I had joined different trading live streams. I was more interested in Trades by Matt at the time, where I would join in almost every single day just to be able to watch like how he trades, his patience, and all that stuff. Learn as much as possible, right? And I even got really interested in Michael Chin, but he wasn't active at the time. He's just barely coming back into the space right now. But going back to Trades by Matt's live stream, what I came to realize is that people that joined in those live streams, they came with the purpose. You know, they wanted to be in there. Just like Discord, they join these servers because they want to be in there. They want to gain some type of value from it. So with YouTube, it's the same thing. It's not like, you know, you're randomly pulling up your phone just to pull up whatever live stream that pops up first. Like, no, if you get a notification that one of your influencers is going live, you might join, or you know what their schedule is, that they're coming on live at this time, or whatever the case may be. People choose to be in there. So if they're going to want to be in there, it's easier to be able to make friends because they have, you know, true reason to be in there to gain some value. Same thing for you too. Maybe your intent is to be able to join that live stream and make other friends. So that's what you can do in the live stream chat. Sometimes though, the only con that I find with making trader friends in YouTube and live streams is that the chat can move very quickly sometimes. Sometimes there's a lot of spam robots, sometimes there's self-promoters, sometimes people are just talking about gosh knows what, but also just the speed of the chat moves quickly. A really great example of a chat that moves very quickly that I can't even like fathom is Ricky Gutierrez. He has so many people that joins in his live stream, and that chat just goes. It just goes, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it just shows that he has a big impact on people's lives because they want to be in there. They want to gather information from what he's saying in the live stream, and you know, some people actually want to have some genuine comments in there, and other people just like to spam it. So now, Twitter is the fourth app that I just recently started using, and I started to notice the positive impact it's had on my trading career. And as a beginner, I would recommend to start off right away with downloading this app. And the reason being is that the Twitter algorithm, just like Instagram, is actually really amazing. Because the more you look at trading related content or whatever feed you want to, you know, get more interested in, the more you engage with that kind of content, the more it pops up on your timeline. So for Twitter example, you know, obviously it's all things trading related. So I'm starting to get suggested ads and profiles of people that I've never heard or met before. Same thing on Instagram. And that is how I'm exposed to even more opportunities to network. You know, I'm able to see other people's accounts and be like, hey, I like what this person is tweeting about. Or maybe, you know, they have some very educational insight that I can learn from. Or maybe they're just going through the same path as I. That is how you're able to connect with them. You can send them a DM. Again, surface level, simple, keep it very general, and then you can build your relationship over time. That is how I started when it came to all of these apps. And it's very simple as long as you're able to put in the work of creating your social platform, putting a profile picture, maybe even having a description, and then from there just start posting things. You don't have to be the most active person on the entire website or on all the apps, but definitely just at least have a little bit of, you know, activity so that people can notice you, or even then so you don't look like a spam robot or anything. But yeah, that is all the apps that I would use to start, you know, building relationships with fellow traders and building your own community. Because obviously over time, you're gonna have so many friends that you don't even know what you're gonna do. You might as well just create a new Discord and all of you and your friends could join in on it. No, but in all honesty, I hope that this portion of this video was helpful because again, I got this asked so many times, how can I meet fellow trader friends and build a network and be able to hop on a Skype call every day and talk to them about all things trading related. Well, these are the four apps that are really going to help by a landslide. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of a head start as to where you can begin. But if you guys have any further questions about this, I can make a more in-depth video and you can comment down below your opinion. And that is a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this video to be helpful in any way, feel free to drop a big thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed as more announcements, projects, and content is going to be released very soon. On top of that, in the description, everything that I've covered today will be linked below for your reference. I do appreciate your time and support. And as always, I wish you nothing but the best and most success in your trading journey. Best of luck to all of you new traders out there, and I'll see you all very soon.